Welcome to another episode of my YouTube video. Today we'll be talking about why you should become a lifelong learner. Knowledge is supposed to begin from your household. Most of the time, we believe that you have to go to school first before you can learn, or only when you are in the environment of an institution, that's when you will take learning as a serious business. But if you want to advance yourself, you want to be a better person in society, in an organization, in a company, you want to be a person of value, you need to become a lifelong learner. That means that you have to go beyond just learning within a formal setting. Now, the best form of education is the one that you give to yourself. It has to be informal. That is through reading, through studying a lot of things, through watching YouTube videos. In fact, YouTube is now a university of its own, so you don't really have to go to a university. But it's good if you are the one who loves certificates and the degrees. You want to have all those things. They are good, but nevertheless, you have to also add the element of self-education which you have to give to yourself. That's what takes you through life. That's what makes you a better person because there are a lot of things that are not being taught in schools. And the only way you can develop your mind is to never stop learning. The moment you stop learning, and I think somebody said at the time you stop, that is the very time you start dying. So make yourself a lifelong learner. Why is this important? People who have been exceptional in any field of endeavor were not born exceptional. They are lifelong learners. They are people who have committed themselves to continuous learning, to articulating a vision for themselves, and at the same time, they inspire and motivate others to be that which they want them to, and they believe they could be, whether for society, for themselves, for their families, for whatever. Now, the essence of life is to, better humanity, is to add value to humanity. It's not for you to just come and just pass through life and at the end, nothing can be written about you haven't passed through the sands of time. You should leave an imprint. You should leave your footsteps in the sands of time. So the moment you stop learning is also the time that you stop leading yourself. Because leadership has to start with first you, the ability for you to lead yourself. And for you to lead yourself well, you have to come to a place where you continuously improve yourself. You continuously improve your learning, continuously improve the information, the stuff information that you have. Because the world is dynamic, it changes, it keeps changing. And the more it keeps changing, you can't afford to use the knowledge of yesterday to tackle the issues or the challenges or the problems of tomorrow. You need to continuously build on what you know yesterday. Sometimes you have to unlearn and relearn the things that you have been learning over time. So don't suffocate your brain. Let it breathe some air of learning. Recently, I just heard that statement, from one of my mentors, Dr. Uzawado. He said, "Don't suffocate your brain. Let it breathe some air of learning." What a wonderful quote, and it stuck with me, because many of us have come to a place where we have suffocated our brains because we don't, put learning. We don't take time to study. We don't take time to self-develop ourselves through reading, and it has become one of the things that has limited a lot of people, either in their careers or either in advancing, in the things they want to do, in their visions, in is it a business that they're trying to do or to start? All these things they come up and they accumulate to where they begin to become a limiting factor for your life. So great people or individuals are persistent. They never stop trying to learn. So you can't just say because you have finished school and you have earned a degree and you believe that no, the next thing is for you to go out and and say it's only for you to look for a job now. You don't want to even see anything about, because I've heard people say these things, when they are writing their final exams or they just finish their final exam and say we are signing out, and somebody will say if I open a book again, if I catch myself opening a book again and all that, and you wonder, like this life that is ever changing. One of the things that is just constant is change, and you want life will continue to change, and you as a person, you don't want to change, you don't want to develop, you don't want to grow. How do you grow if you don't look for new information, you don't seek new knowledge in different fields? So lifelong learners are as their frame of reference gets broader because of their comprehensive learning experiences, they do not hold their knowledge back. but instead they look for ways to transmit it to the next generation. That's why you see people who are continuously lifelong learners, they end up writing books, they end up, in public speaking, they end up being at the top of their careers or their field of endeavors, and they inspire other people to want to do greater. They inspire the next generation by their results, by the ripple effects of their skill or habit of being lifelong learners. So although our educational system provides a formal structure and a foundation for learning, it rarely instills a love for perpetual learning. And that is why you have to be the person to develop this thing. That's why when I said, look, knowledge has to start from your house. That is the place where you have to instill the love for perpetual learning to your children. And how do you do that? You need to be an example. As a parent, you need to be the one to show them the way. You need to be one who they see you reading. You surround them with books. Have shelves of books in your home. Let it be something. Let there be a picture that inspires them to want to reach out for learning, for continuous learning, for reading. For that habit, it's a critical skill that we need to inculcate, because in recent time there has been this lost culture of reading. People don't take time to, read. They don't apply themselves to in-depth knowledge seeking, and this has been, a limiting factor in different things that has affected society and the crop of people that we are building. At the point it becomes, like people are becoming intellectually lazy, and it's not good for the tomorrow that we want to see. It's not good for, the innovations that we're trusting to happen in our society, the transformations that we want to see. So as an effective individual, you must enjoy evolving through learning, because as today's variable change, yesterday's information quickly becomes obsolete, because information now is at the speed of light. We have it at the tip of our fingers on our mobile devices, and it's constantly changing. It's like in milliseconds now that new information is coming out. People are doing new researches, they are putting out new informations out there and all that. So you can't afford as an individual not to evolve through your learning. So to close the gap between what you know and what is relevant, smart individuals must consciously seek out new opportunities to learn, develop, and advance themselves. It is this unquenchable thirst for knowledge and evolution that separates exceptional individuals from the crowd. Because if you don't do this, you will be left behind. You will not be at the cutting edge of your industry. You will not be at the cutting edge of what your peers or people who are high achievers know and are using to put themselves at the top of the ladder. So today I want to just encourage and just point out some strategies to becoming a lifelong learner. One, pursue relevant and high caliber knowledge sources. It's easy for us to just want quick microwaved informations. But that does not cut it in the 21st century. Where we are currently, it demands that you pursue relevant and high caliber knowledge that will expand your knowledge base. It's not simply about increasing the knowledge that you consume. No, it requires that the most relevant and quality sources can best enhance your understanding. Go forward, quality and relevant sources of what knowledge that can enhance your understanding. Two, you need to cultivate what is called deep smarts. What are deep smarts? Now, these smarts are a collection of your mindset, your education, or the information and learning that you have had over time, and your experiences. You bringing them together comes about, forming this deep smart. So what you think about and what you do with your knowledge impacts the ability to understand it fully and apply it in a broader context. So to develop an expert level skill set, delve beyond the surface, engage learning and its application holistically. That means you have to dive deep into the knowledge that you are acquiring, not just consuming so much information and then you're not applying that information, and you're not even thinking about what you are reading or learning. That when you read something, you will give it some thought, you will go deep into it, engage that particular information, and once you engage it, it brings about fresh perspectives for you. It gives you deeper insight, and that is what is called deep smarts. So thirdly, we will now be talking about the third strategy you can use to be a lifelong learner, which is secure advisors or mentors. It is impossible to be all knowing. It is very impossible. Knowledge is inexhaustive. So no matter how smart or experienced you are as a professional in a field or whatever, there's somebody that knows better than you. So that's why everyone has knowledge gaps. And dabbling or worse, bluffing, that usually ends in disaster. So you should be humble enough to learn at every point. You should be able to admit that you don't know certain things, that you are willing to be taught, you are willing to learn, you are willing to seek knowledge from others who have probably gone up in the ladder, who are higher up in the ladder, in that place where you want to be. So the greater likelihood of you encountering uncharted territories in whatever field or endeavor is high, and therefore you have to always have a group of advisors or mentors that you can always seek their counsel, you can always seek their advice, you can always go to them to increase your knowledge and learning. So whenever your own knowledge reserve become exhausted while trying to steer through unfamiliar scenarios, consider seeking the one-on-one advice of someone more knowledgeable than you. And it's very okay. That doesn't make you less than who you are. So number 4, engage in observation and introspection. Observation and introspection are straightforward methods of advancing learning, regardless of whatever discipline it is that you are in. And observing something directly helps you to gain information about it. Now, a desire to learn more about oneself requires an inward journey to a deeper level. So you come to a place where you have to now do some introspection about the things you are learning. Explore thoughts. Feel those things those information that you are taking in. Feel it up close and personal. Let it be personal to you. A better approach is to be proactive and set aside time for self-contemplation on a regular basis. That when you read, meditate on what you have read. Try to digest it. Think about what you are thinking about that particular thing. So think about your decisions, think about your progress, think about where you have failed, what has led to that, what can you do better. It's a form of evaluating your learning. So access where more critical thinking and better decision making will be better or will serve you better. And that is the reason for what? Introspection. Now, number 5, step outside your comfort zone. Anything that becomes routine is at the risk of falling into what? A rut. Comfort is comforting. So that's why they said you should step out of that comfort zone. And they said your comfort zone can kill you. And change can be difficult. However, learning is a lot like building muscles. It's like somebody who wants to, be fit, who wants to grow muscles and all that, and decides that he will only be lying down constantly. He's not going to go to the gym. He's not going to lift weights, and all that. The muscles will not be developed. So it happens with learning. The more you do it, the more you build what? Muscles. You build brain muscles. The more you build your mindset. The more your mind is exercised and challenged in everything that you're trying to do, both in your learning, both in the new information that you are getting, both in your thinking, both in your ability to even provide solutions. So today I want to leave you with a personal challenge. What have you always wanted to learn to do but never actively pursue? Maybe it's learning to cook, maybe it's learning to swim, maybe it's learning to ride as simple as a bicycle, maybe it's learning to drive, maybe it's trying to learn a new digital skill. It could be simple things like that. Now, I just want you to do something. Make a list of 3 dreams that you have had, or things that you have wanted to do or pursue that you have been postponing to date. When you make those, you have listed those 3 things. Which factors have prevented you from pursuing them? List those things. What is it? Is it fear of, water? Is it fear of falling down from the bicycle? Is it fear of, being on the road or having an accident that has stopped you from learning how to drive? Fear of burning the food that has stopped you from learning how to cook, or criticism from people and all that. List those fears. Next, determine the necessary steps required to pursue each activity, prioritizing them by what? By importance. That is, I want you to what? Determine what are the necessary steps that will be required to pursue each activity. If it's you want to cook, you say, okay, maybe I should find a teaching class that teaches cooking, or a chef that can teach me how to cook, and enroll in a catering school. Things like that. It's just determine the steps, and then what will you require for it to happen for you, like that. Then you now establish, give yourself a timeline. Give yourself a timeline. It was Elon Musk who said, if you give yourself 1 year to achieve something, it will take you 1 year. If you give yourself 6 months to achieve it, you will do it in 6 months. So, but have a timeline. Have a timeline. Finally, write a statement pledging to complete that activity according to the timeline that you have stipulated. And after you have done, sign it. Sign it. It's like having a contract with yourself. And I'm telling you, you will see there's a feeling that comes with it. And I hope you can share in the comment section how you feel after having done this to your success. And I wish you all the best as you work towards becoming a lifelong learner.